What's up? Yeah, it's a beautiful, hot, bloody, nasty. No, it's not a beautiful day. It's a miserable day. It's hot and sweaty and miserable. Miserable, I say. No, it's actually, it's hot and miserable, but whatever. How's life in the YouTube world of whatever? How's life? I want to put this on, but I'm not going to yet. I don't think. I don't know. One of these wheels still isn't as smooth as I'd like it. That one's smooth, that one's smooth, that one's smooth. This one's not so smooth. I mean, it rolls, but it's kind of like a rough feeling. And, maybe I will pull the wheel off of this. Because one of these, I'm sure, is just peachy keen fine. At least one of them. That one's smooth. That one's smooth. That one's smooth. That one's really rough. I knew there was one on here that was rough. That one's sort of rough. That one's super smooth, and that one's super smooth. So, I think I'm stealing. Because I think there's one of these that's rough, too, when I tighten this up. So what's up, Chris and Vince? Anybody want to jump in? Feel free. I haven't seen Vince around so much because he's actually working again. So we don't see him around as much no more. Not a stream whore like the rest of us anymore. I think one of these two wasn't all that great either. That one's super smooth. It's just this one. And it's not terrible, but what the hell, if I can do better, why not? Hi, Jesse. I love milled aluminum. Me too. I love it too. This was done by Mr. RC CNC. He did this for me to fit that printer over there, which you can't see. That printer right there. Because right now it's got like one of these open build plates, like this thing all pre-made, and then all kinds of plasticky crap to make it so I can mount the Hemera to it. And I want to get rid of all the plasticky crap. And he made this to direct mount the Hemera to. So I'm going to direct mount the Hemera to it. That one's a little rough. That one's really rough. That one's really good. It's just a hairy bit longer. It might be better for the other one. For these? I don't know. This is the good one, I hope. It is. Am I putting the bearings on there? I think I'd rather. Although, these I haven't. That one's actually a little stiff. That one's freaking beautiful. That one's beautiful. That one's not terrible. It's the worst of the three now. Let's see. Then we get the washer. Then we get the spacer. Then we screw it to the block. That is super smashing. This one's good, but these are better. And I think I have another one here that's better. So I might as well pull it. Yeah, this one right here. It's probably almost nice going back to work, though, huh? What's up, Dan? What's up, Sergio? You know, that didn't work. Taking the absolute best 4 wheels I've got and putting it on here. This one, it's good. I mean, it's actually pretty smooth, but there's like a lip in it I can feel. And why have it there if I can get rid of it? Right? Right. Right as rain. Yeah, normal sleep is a good thing. I totally agree. I wish I could get normal sleep. But I just don't get that stuff myself much anymore. Then this, and then that, and then that goes in the hole there, and then this. And then this. And then the whole thing gets tightened up. Wind up with a nut. Okay, what's going on here? Here we go. Oh, dumbass. You see what I did? I put it on the wrong side of the frickin' plate. Oops. Oop. Oops. Hurst. I was wanting to fix transmission, boss. I don't know if you guys remember that. Extruded nonsense. Who is that weird guy? What's up, man?
Oh, not much.
Can't even hear you. Oh, do I have my TV down? I might have my TV down. I do. What's up?
Resting my knee.
You're still really, really quiet.
How's that?
Much better.
I haven't used the mic in a last couple of days or whatever. So I think the volume got knocked down.
Oh yeah, perfect wheelies. Now we got perfect wheelies. Not just regular wheelies, not just bicycle wheelies, but we now have mountain bike wheelies.
Whoa. No, I made a mistake because I didn't think I was going to get hit with any overtime, like right off the bat. And then we had a call off. So I didn't bring my medicine with me. And the last day and a half for not having it, I can start to feel it in my knee again.
Yep. Time for surgery, eh?
No, it's just the medicine was helping keeping the inflammation down.
Yeah.
So all that standing, walking, and all that other stuff that we do, I can feel that my right knee. I can, like, if I bend it and just push it around, and I can feel it's just a little puffier than the other knee. So finally got home.
Yep, know that feeling. I'm going through that right this very second.
Yep. So take the medicine, let it do its work, and get the inflammation back down.
I went out and fed my mother at 6 o'clock this morning so I could go out and play in the yard before it got hot.
It's not too bad here right now.
Yeah. It's only 80, but it's 85% humidity.
Yeah, I don't think I have. It's 84 here. But we have the humidity. It's just warm, very very warm right now.
Ooh, isn't that
Although it looks like, yeah, I think we've only got like about a 7 to 9% chance of rain. So really not much going on here. It's supposed to get up to 91 though.
What's up, Devin? That is absolute sweetness.
No, I did get lucky last night though. About an hour and a half after I got off. Oh, that just rolls smooth.
Oh, is that freaking beautiful or what?
Yeah, it just looks pretty smooth.
Yep, it sure is.
But yeah, about an hour and a half after I got off last night, they ended up having a fire at a storage unit.
Cool.
So
we like fires. Fire.
Yeah, well, luckily I didn't.
Probably not so happy it's in the guy's storage unit, but fires are cool.
Well, it's more like one of those like storage places. So you got multiple storages.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. So I think it pretty much damaged
everything.
The original one that caught fire, the one adjacent to it, and then some smoke damage to the next two next to it. So they got it knocked down pretty quick, but I'm just glad I didn't have to. Basically, just getting back and have to do all that work.
You use these things for your knees?
No.
You should. It took me a while to get used to them.
Uh-huh.
Oh my God. When I'm out working, I've got the ones that have got like a bungee cord like spring in the side.
Uh-huh.
Big help walking around. Not only that, they got the padded knees. They have like a big donut that goes around your kneecap. So if you have to kneel, which I'm sure you have to do on occasion.
Oh, yeah.
They help a lot because that's what yours is kneecap, right?
No, it's the meniscus. So it's just to the
yeah,
side.
but it's under the kneecap. Side of the kneecap.
Yeah, well, it's not underneath the kneecap. Where my tear is, it's right on the side of the knee.
Yeah, well, these are actually, my issue is along the inside arc of right here.
Yeah, that's where mine.
On the inside.
Yeah, that's where
mine's I have a meniscus issue too, but that's completely different. My issue right now is the tendon that goes from like your lower leg to the upper leg and stretches across the knee joint. Mm-hmm. That's just torn to shit.
Well, I think that's why they opted not to do surgery because, well, one, I don't have much cartilage left in the side of the knee there. But the orthopedic doctor basically was like, well, if we can strengthen the muscles in the knee and stuff and let the muscles and everything do the work of support.
Yeah.
And that will help.
The problem is doing like you were doing, sitting around.
Mm-hmm.
I found if the longer I sit around, the worse it gets. Like today, I had a hard time getting out. And, I went out and mowed a little bit. I raked some freaking wood chips around a little bit. I was out there like an hour and a half. But my knees are aching now, but I definitely have more flexibility, movement than I did this morning when I got up. Just by making myself go out and walk.
That's one thing I've noticed. Like when I get up to go to physical therapy, or when I was getting up to go to physical therapy, my knee would be a little stiff, just a slight pain, just be a little stiff. And by the time I was done with the hour of physical therapy, it felt better. It didn't feel as stiff. The pain might still be like about a 0.5 to 1 at the worst, but definitely wasn't as stiff. And since I worked and I didn't go to physical therapy yesterday because I ended up getting mandated to work, I can definitely feel it today.
Yeah.
Because I didn't get all that workout specifically on the leg.
Yep. Sitting around is worse. It hurts like a mother exercising, but not exercising hurts even worse when you got to go do something.
Well, it was nice for the first couple weeks just letting it
Heal. Yeah.
I was actually doing good the week before the 4th of July.
Yep.
Or a week and a half before the 4th of July. I was actually where I had hardly any pain at times. I mean, if I had a flare up, it may have spiked to a 1, but I had a lot of times where it just wasn't really bothering me. And then did some yard work, pressure washed the gutters, the side of the house, the deck. Just did a lot of work that weekend. And oh boy, then I started to feel it again. Just kind of pushed
Just
it.
get on a ladder.
Well, it's just that pushing it more than just that 1 hour of
Yep.
physical therapy, and then actually just spending hours working.
Yeah.
Definitely.
That, like I said, being on a ladder drives my knee absolutely. 'Cause people don't realize when you go up a ladder, it's not just standing there. When you're working off a ladder, you're shifting your weight, and your knees taking all the pressure to like keep your balance.
Yep.
And it takes a lot of twist just to keep your balance on a ladder while you're working. You lean out over here to do something. You lean out. I need to finish pressure washing my house. I got half the house done because I don't want to go up the damn ladder. So the bottom of the house is all pressure washed all the way around.
Well,
Top half is still all covered in green mossy shit.
yeah. My house is just a single story, so I only go up maybe like 4 or 5 rungs just to get to the gutter area to pressure wash. Well, the gutters were supposed to be the like you don't need to clean them. It's one single piece of aluminum, and it has the little fold in it, so that way the water will run off or run in, and everything else, leaves and stuff's supposed to just roll off. But through the years, the branches falling off the tree, hitting it, putting dents and stuff, kind of changes the dynamics.
Yep.
So the gutters over the years have gotten a lot of sediment and stuff built up in it.
Yeah, I got to do my gutters on the garage. The house I don't have to worry about because there's no trees really close enough to, I get an occasional leaf in it, but I go up and clean the gutters on the house like once every 4 or 5 years. The gutters on the garage are bad. For one, they're lower, and two, it's just surrounded by trees, especially on the back half. I haven't done them in like a year.
Yeah.
Probably go look. Just thinking about it, the freaking garage. I'm almost ready to do the garage roof over. That thing's almost 25 years old. Keep thinking it's brand new, and it ain't. Because my neighbor who helped me, he helped me build it. I worked for him on and off. He's been dead almost 15 years. And he actually, we sold him the property. My parents owned like 30 acres here. It goes all the way back. We were going to sell him 3 acres to put his house. My mother was getting sick. My father was retired. And they're like, why don't we just sell him everything? Basically give it to him because we didn't charge him any extra. I think they paid like $50,000 for their 3 acres. We're like, we're just going to give him everything and they could take care of it. He's got backhoes and, he was in construction. So he had all the equipment to take care of the driveway. He's only like 2 years older than me. I wasn't here at the time. I was living out in Long Island. Well, me and my brothers were like, it's Dean. He's been our neighbor since like the 50s. We've known his great grandfather and my great grandfather owned the train station which is now the post office, but it used to be a train station together. That's the generations of family anyways. So we gave it all to him. And he helped me do the garage. And because of it, he actually poured my floor in the garage for me. When he did his garage, he didn't even tell me. I just came home from Long Island one day, and there he is freaking smoothing out the garage floor. I'm like, what the hell? When I built the garage, I didn't have a concrete floor. I just filled it with dirt and left it. So I come home one weekend to pull up into my garage. He's got tape all across. I'm like, what the hell are you doing in my freaking garage, bastard? He's like, I poured you a floor. I was like, holy shit. Okay. He's like, yeah, your parents gave me all the property, and they got 26 acres now that they paid $50,000 for. Just so you know, an acre of property here, acre and a third, a building lot is an acre and a third, goes for about $100,000.
Wow.
and he got 26 acres for it. I think they charged him 60 grand for it. We basically priced it so he could build the house
I
and
got
have
four of these printed out now.
he had.
And looks like, oh, this one
That's
is
the
a little tight.
monkey unit. Yeah, you know what makes those even easier to use? Don't get samples.
No, I get the alien box, so I get samples. And it's nice that I got such a variety of colors. So if I wanted to print something and doing color changes at layers,
Yeah,
these are great. Or I mean, and Josh, I mean, these are like 60 gram
yeah, they're pretty big samples.
yeah, so he gives you quite a bit.
Oh no, lava sample. Are you working, Dan, or are you home? John Mack, I didn't even see you come in.
But yeah, that little spool holder.
Yeah, no, he did a pretty good job designing that thing.
Oh yeah, I like the fact that it'll hold. You can adjust it for whatever size, but it's just all the way closed. It's perfect for the spools that you get from Alien. Which was going to be funny. I thought about using some of those samples to print out some of these.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Actually,
great.
we actually owned 9 acres. The rest of it was all part of the swamp association or whatever, and they ended up buying that. Now they think about it. Anyway, we had a bunch of property, and they ended up with even more property. They own the whole pond and everything out back now. And then this guy owns all that property over here, and he's been digging and backhoeing, and I want to know what the hell he's doing. Not that I really care. He can do whatever the hell he wants.
I made the mistake that while I was off, I didn't print a whole lot of stuff, and now that I'm back at work, I'm going, man, I need to print some stuff, and now I don't have the time.
Isn't that always the way? When you have the time, you don't bother, and when you don't have the time,
Then that's when you want to do something. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know that feeling. Oh, do I want to tear that thing all down and frickin' remount? I probably should. I probably should completely tear it down and re-square it. I have a feeling I moved it around so many times I knocked it out of square.
You might get lucky and just measure and stuff and find out that you don't really have to do much to tweak it.
Yeah, it needs more bracing, anyways. Like the uprights, the beds riding on only have one of those corner brackets on them. They should really have 2 at least, if not 3 or 4. I noticed one of those was shifting the other day and re-squared it, but it's literally got one little angle bracket holding it in place. I kind of rushed it at the end, and then I never bothered repairing it because it worked.
Well, if you get in and get it all tweaked out, it should be running almost perfect then.
Yeah. Then I'm going to kick it down to the 0.6 nozzle again, too. I think the 0.8 nozzle is just a little too big.
Well, and then you get the compromise. 0.4 for a little bit detail, 0.8 for printing fast and bigger stuff.
But I have the 0.8 on it, I have the 0.6 on this, and I have the 0.4 on this. But the 0.6, I'm finding, I really don't notice the difference between 0.6 and 0.8 or 0.4 in quality.
Mm-hmm.
If you lower the layer height, like if I print it with the 0.6 at 1.2 layer or 0.12 layer height or 0.14 layer height, it comes out gorgeous. You really can't. I mean, if I wanted to be nitpicky and I was printing like Fotis's stuff that's all like high detail, little everything's, yeah, I'd probably notice it. But I don't print that kind of stuff. Most of my stuff is, usable, brackets, shelves and plates and occasionally a freaking work hockey something or other. Ow, that hurt.
Yeah, if you print anything, if as long as it's not super detailed to where there's actually room on the inside, yeah, you shouldn't have any issues even with a 0.6. It just basically you don't have to do as many walls. I figure a 0.8 same as doing 2 passes. Just do it in one.
Yep. Yeah, the 0.8 is noticeable though. The biggest problem with the 0.8 is it's really hard to keep it from stringing. It's just a little too big of a diameter. It oozes a little too much. I cannot get the 0.8 to stop getting stringy and yucky. And where the 0.6 I don't have any problems with.
Yeah, it sounds like a good compromise then.
So I may kick this down to the 0.6 again. I don't know. Haven't decided yet.
Well, put a 0.6 on there and try it out. And if you like it, keep it on there because then you kind of get, like I
Yeah,
said,
well,
the compromise. You can print a little faster because you got a little bit more volume, but yet still keep some detail. And
yeah, well, I think I'm going to do like I always do. And I got it all wired for it. I think I'm going to buy a couple of more hot ends for it. Just the hot end for the Humera. You know, the heat break, the block, the heater, and the thermistor. And just do the same thing like I used to do with this thing. I have like 4 hot ends for it that I can screw onto it in 2 minutes. They're all assembled. It's heat break, block, thermistor, everything all wired with the plugs and everything. So if I want to go to a 0.4, I just unscrew the heat break, screw the new one on, plug the new electronics in, boom, and it's off and running, and just level the bed. And every one of my printers has a single knob bed leveler, so height adjuster. I don't know why every printer in the world doesn't have a single freaking adjustable height. You know, you adjust all 4 knobs to flatten the bed, and then you leave it. You don't set your nozzle height by all them 4. I have 1 knob that sets my nozzle height. Just makes more sense. Kind of want an Ender 3 so I can do one and start doing, because since the Ender 3 is like the most popular printer in the world now.
well, it's cheap and prints good.
Well, I mentioned like I said, the single knob height adjuster, and I've had a few people go, "Oh, is there one for an Ender 3?" I'm like, design one. Of course, not everyone. It's hard sometimes to imagine that people just don't get designing. There's just people that can't do it. They just want to print crap, which is fine. But it's hard for me to go, look, it's a little square with a little bracket, and you put 4 holes on it, and you're done. But people just don't get it. What's up, Don? How is life there, German dude? He's a German. Oh my God, the Germans are coming. The Germans are coming. Oh wait, that's supposed to be the English. Where's I'm gonna say Andrew, but Andrew's not even English. He's Scottish.
Yeah, I almost had another Ender 3 Pro.
Cake just arrived. I have to do congratulations.
I had another one for like 100
Well, have fun with that, Robbie.
bucks, and went to
Yeah. All those. The Ender 3 isn't going to lose popularity. It's still so dirt cheap, and it works. I mean, it generally works out of the box. I mean, there's people that have issues, but there's people that have issues with frickin' Ultimakers and Raise 3Ds.
Minus my Prussias, all the other printers that I have bought, most of them have been open box returned. They were used, and you can look at the heat bed at the material, and you can just see where they just had a hard time either understanding how to level.
Yeah.
And like I said, for the most part, for me, the only problems I ever really get into is either the center of the bed is down or the center of the bed's a little high. And so if it's high, you put tapes on the outside edges to bring it up a little bit. And if it's dipped, you just put in the center, throw your glasses or whatever surface back on, and go to printing. That's usually all I have to do, and I don't have an issue. But I think a lot of people just buy a printer, they think it's going to work, and not understand that you might have to tweak a little bit. Like some of those
whole
Facebook,
first layer thing.
Yeah, well, a lot of those Facebook
There's
groups,
a lot of people that don't get it.
yeah, well, I've seen people in Facebook groups, and they'll be like, Well, I got the four corners level, but it's not in the center. And I'll show 'em a picture where I had glass bed on a CR10 where you could see where I put the tape and just say, hey, if the nozzle's too high, that means the center is lower. Just put a piece of tape under there and
Yep.
get you close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Blue tape for the win.
It's so versatile. But yeah, I mean,
Did you see that video I posted on Twitter of that guy, 10 things you could do with blue tape that you didn't know about?
I haven't watched it, but yeah.
It's actually pretty good. There was stuff in there that, I thought about, but I hadn't thought about in years. I was like, oh, yeah, that's a good thing. Yeah. Blue tape is the ultimate 3D printing freaking MacGyver thing.
Yeah.
Blue tape is the duct tape of 3D printing. And crap. Really not in the mood to tear that printer apart today. Kind of exhausted. Going out and working and sweating this morning kind of kicked my butt. Yeah, I don't really like the aluminum tape. I find it kinks too easily, and then you get an unflat surface, if that makes sense. I have a hard time working with it. Not only that, it's always too thin. Like most of the time I find I want a larger patch. Because the aluminum, I got some of the aluminum tape, and the Wham Bam system comes in it, but they're little like half-inch thick strips. And they're really not wide enough to kind of like make ribs, which is fine. I mean, that works. It's just more work. I go around and I take my square and, I shine a light from the backside and I look through it. And I take a magic marker and I kind of just slide it around and I mark the edge. And then I just put the blue tape down and I cut it like a 1/4 inch back from that line. Whatever that shape is, cow shape, boom. That's what needs to be padded up.
I just go just for a quick simple. I either put one, your typical regular size roll. Just put one down the center, or I'll put a strip on the two outer edges, just to kind of make that slight adjustment. And then
that's really all you need.
I think the only time I've had to use more, a friend of mine had an Ender 3, and it was working fine out of the box. It level, everything was good. A couple months later, then it had a little bit of a warp. So we would put some tape down to adjust it. And then it was too close. And then we took the tape back off. And then a couple months went by and we had to do it again, or we had to readjust it a little bit. But that's just kind of like when you're printing and something's different, you go back. Because a lot of times you can see, if you're doing the corners, you can kind of get there in the center and then just look and you can tell whether you're too close or too high.
Yep.
I think one thing that's nice is the CR10S Pro came with a 0.2 feeler gauge. So on the Ender 3, I have it in the firmware to do the manual, where you can just baby step it and then just hit the button to save. And I just went through the all the different spots and just did it, just kind of get it down there, just that. And right now, when I go to print on the Ender 3 Pro, as soon as the print starts, I just go into the baby step and I just drop it down to negative 0.2. Print's perfect. I don't have to adjust anything. It just goes on and nice. And when it's done, I can just give a little twist and then just pop the part off when it's finished after it's cooled down. Because I got the Creality glass bed.
Yeah.
And then,
I really want to. Maybe I'll do that, even though that's the one really fully working printer I got. Believe it or not, that ANET is my best working printer right now. They work beautifully, actually. I mean, there's not much of an ANET left on it, but I really want to try that. Try putting. I want to put that silicone crap I got on it for under the bed for an insulator instead of like doing cork or something. And I was thinking about it, like I don't want to stick it on there and find I don't want it, or it does something bad, and then I can't get it off. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to put blue tape on it first, and then put the silicone on it. That way, if I don't like it, I can use the blue tape for a peel layer.
Yeah. Speaking of cork, it's almost like anything. I can sit there and say, well, the other day I got an auction. So literally, I won an auction. I think I paid $10.50, so about $12, and it's a roll of cork. Now, the way they had it described in the picture, it didn't look like a big roll. When I went to go pick it up, it is, I want to say 200 square feet, so it's like 4 feet tall by 50 feet long or something like that. It looks like a roll of carpet. It's cork. So I have cork board like crazy.
Let me guess. It's a quarter-inch thick.
Huh?
Quarter-inch thick.
Uh, yeah, probably. If not, just a little thinner.
Yeah.
It's not like super thick, but it's without having a ruler in front of me, I would say.
I wonder what it was used for. It was probably used for underlayment.
Yeah, I think that's what it was for. I was looking because, like I said, it did. As a picture that they used didn't look like it was I guess it was a stock photo. They just grabbed a photo off the internet to put in there. But it looked like it wasn't nearly a thick roll.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, cool. I can 3D print maybe some custom shaped coasters and stuff, and then trace it, cut it out, and glue it to the cork board.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, well, that's what I was thinking. Little things like that.
I'd like to do that, but
Yeah, I wasn't expecting a 4 foot by 50-foot roll.
a laser, get a cheap laser that doesn't really, a low temp one, and you could like burn coasters into it. Just, burn the image into it. I think that'd be cool.
I would say judging by my calipers, no, it's not a quarter-inch thick.
Yeah, so
I think it's close, but I think it's a little bit just a hair thinner.
Yeah, 3/16, whatever.
Yeah.
We used to use that. Believe it or not, that carpet underlayment crap that everyone uses is basically ground up like leftover pieces. There's people that are allergic to that crap. I don't know why. It's something, the adhesive they use or the way they mold it. But I can't tell you how many times when we do a house, like the carpet guy, we'll have to come in and they use corkboard instead under the carpet. Had that happen a couple times out in Long Island in that big complex I built. Yeah, certain people are allergic to that weird. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. That like stuff they put on the carpet. It's like it looks like scrap foam and rubber and all chewed up.
Yeah,
there's people that are allergic to that crap. I never heard of it.
Well, I mean, depending on if whatever they're using to glue those pieces together, it might be.
Yeah, well, I guess that's it. The adhesive or something. Some people are allergic to, and I don't know, gases up through the carpet, or maybe they're just paranoid freaking idiots. I don't know. There's a couple, 3 of them. It wasn't a lot, but a couple, 3 of them. I remember the carpet guy coming in and starting, and the people are like, no, it's got to be cork. They had to go out and special order the cork underlayment for it.
I don't know, maybe
that's basically what it was. It was like 3/16, quarter-inch thick, something like that.
Yeah, like I said, from what I remember, without going over there measuring, I don't think it's like super thick, as big as a roll as it is, but it's
a lot of people use them in tiles in the basement too, for like the floor.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm glad you can use it for just about anything.
Yeah,
I thought I
like it as a floor, except for it doesn't. It's not. It supposedly wears good. It doesn't.
Yeah, I thought about taking some of it and just like roll it out and measure it, and just maybe like make a small sheet, like say either like 12 inches by the 4 foot, and just roll it up and just sell them. It's just like little craft thing for people.
Yeah. I guarantee you. What you can do is just go buy some cheap trim at the freaking lumberyard, Home Depot, Lowe's, and a piece of real thin plywood, and staple it on there and throw some trim around it and sell it as little cork boards.
I'm not going to go into that much work.
You get $20 for one of them things easy.
Yeah. That to me, that's a little bit more work than I need to worry about.
It's like a hobby thing. You're not act to make money. I mean, you make a couple $5, but
I've got maybe $12. I got maybe $12 into that roll. So obviously, if I can just say like measure it out and cut 1 foot by 4 foot and sell it for a few bucks, whatever, do that a couple of times, the roll's paid for.
Yep.
And then I've got extra, but yeah, I got more than I'll ever need. Just like I got I don't know how big it is, but I want to say it's like 2 foot by I don't know how many feet magnetic sheet. It's rolled up, so that way it's like white. So I don't know if you can just print on it, but I thought about doing the same thing where I maybe like take my maker coin trace and then cut it out, glue it, and then I just have a magnet.
Yeah, a fridge magnet.
Or but you could just do the custom shapes and since I've got I finally got like a vinyl cutter plotter
Mm-hmm.
I picked up for like $100. Since you can adjust the depth, I could just feed that sheet through there, and I can just have it cut the magnet out to that specific shape, and just.
Yep. Yeah, it's not a bad idea.
But again, that was like one thing where it's about 2 feet tall, and I forget how many feet it is, um, but it's just this big roll of a magnetic.
Yeah. Probably low temp though. It's not like you could use it for bed material.
I wouldn't. It's probably I would probably equate it to about like the Creality, like
Oh, I know.
like the magnet and stuff. Like it could possibly work, but I wouldn't like.
Well, my thought would be to put it on the bed and then use a spring steel sheet on top of it. I would never print directly on those flimsy magnets.
No, but that's what I'm saying. It's flexible and stuff, and I don't think it's nearly as strong. Like if I was to put screws on there, it's probably like this, where it's just enough strength that you could hold something on there, but it doesn't take much to shake it off.
Yeah, no. Yeah, well, that's what I meant. All right. I'm actually thinking about this. I want to do it, I think. I just got to remember what I did with that. There it is. So I'm seriously thinking about taking this crap, which is like super high temperature gasket maker, like 560-degree crap. I used to make socks out of it when I couldn't get custom socks for like the crappy cheapo ones. I made my own, but now you can get them, and it's like a pain in the ass to make them. And it probably costs more money in the long run. You can buy like 3 of them for $5 now, so I haven't made any more. And I wonder if the tube's even any good anymore. I was seriously considering. Maybe not. Well, it's still mushy in the middle, but it's not coming out. I was thinking about just spreading it on the bottom of the freaking bed as an insulator.
Well, I've seen people use like the cork board and then use something to cover it.
Yep.
Hold it.
The problem with the cork board, I always found you see it dragging and sagging, and it just looks ridiculous to me. And I have this. I don't have cork. I have this. And I thought it might be fun to try.
Well, like you said, if you put it on the blue tape, if you don't like it, peel the whole thing off.
Yep.
Or actually, the funny thing is that you peel it off, and if you can get it out from underneath the tape, then you actually have like an actual silicone sheet.
Yeah. Put the heater cores into it. I used to do heater cores for like rear windows back when you could. Back in the 70s, cars didn't come stock with rear window defrosters. I used to install rear window defrosters. You go out and get the little copper tape and you spread it out and, pin it onto the back window. And oh my God, I was terrible at it. I always had little jiggly lines in it somewhere, but it worked. Put the wires up and the 2 leads up the side of the window and stretch the copper like tape crap across the back of the window. Do that with a heat bed. Make your own heat bed. I'm surprised somebody hasn't done that, although I can't imagine it being a value thing. It would end up costing you more than just buying one. I don't know how those things can't get hot enough either, I don't think. I wonder if this is still any good, one, or if there's enough of it here. Because that's the problem with that bed, is it heats up kind of slow, for one, which is kind of weird because it's got 2 leads for both positive and negative. It's actually got 4 wire power lines running into it. I imagine they did that so they could use a smaller gauge wire and feed it more juice. takes forever. I mean, it heats up to 50 pretty fast, but anything over 50, it'll get a thermal runaway. Not enough rise thing. Doesn't rise fast enough, and I've reset firmware and everything for it. But and it gets really good and warm in the middle. But by the time you get to the outside edges, it's at like room temperature. It doesn't stay warm on the outside edge. So I'm thinking this might help.
Well, yeah, I mean that's the biggest thing is if you can get it to where it can hold the heat, so it'll spread a little easier
Well,
the plate.
hold the heat up just a tad faster. Because I can heat it up to 70. I have to heat it up to 70 to use like the Wham Bam.
Mm.
And I kick it up to 50, and then I go 55, and I let it heat up to 55, and then I go 60, and then I let it heat up to 60, and then I go 65, and then 70. And it'll do it. If I do it in 5-degree steps, if I just punch in 70, it'll hit 50, 55, and it'll go into, not heating up fast enough, thermal runaway, blah, 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 and shut down and start chirping and making all kinds of noise.
Yeah. Well, luckily, I haven't had that problem with any of my printers.
That's a pretty bad.
Even the CR10S, the regular CR10S that I had, it heated up reasonably decent. I mean, you're not talking speed, but if it was get up to 60 degrees within 5 minutes, I consider that decent for something that's just a
This thing heats up pretty fast. I got a Folger Tech bed on the Llama Core. It's just 12 volt. I never did 24, and I can get up to 70 degrees in like under 10 minutes. It really does. That's another one. It won't go much over 70. I've pushed it to 100, but again, it takes it either forever or, the duet says no way. But I always wanted to try that. But then the printer would be down for 24 hours.
Well, that's the nice thing when you got multiple printers. You can always print stuff on another one. That
is an FD5 bed. I actually bought the Folger Tech FD5 bed for the Llama Core because that was the cheapest one I could find that big at the time. I only paid like $20 for the 300 cubed. Because he was going to all 24 volt or something, I don't know. So he's dumping the 12 volt beds cheap. I guess they went under. You guys heard anything about that?
Who?
Folger Tech. They're like, I've been, because I'm part of their little group on Facebook. And everyone's bitching. They're getting no response. No orders are going through. Nothing's getting shipped out. I have a feeling they went under. They just kind of did the maker geeky, disappeared, and that's that.
Yeah.
Because they were, you couldn't beat the FT5 when he first came out with it. You were not going to get a 300 cubed printer for $400 or $500 anywhere else. You just couldn't. Now they're a freaking dime a dozen. Even still. But it's so outdated. There's not even a freaking part cooling fan on it. The board is an old Melzy board or something on it. Piece of junk. The hot end's not great. It does have linear rails on the X. For that $500, it's linear rails on the X. Only on the X. I don't know why, but I don't know. Nobody seems to be hearing anything about it because I guess a bunch of people ordered the FT6, and nobody's getting it. Nobody's getting any service. He's not answering emails, and he used to. That's the one good thing about John Fogler is he used to answer emails constantly. If you went on Facebook and you had a problem, you actually got faster responses on Facebook. You almost always responded to Facebook, posts as long as you were polite. He was kind of like Tim. If you were a jackass to him, he'd just ignore it. If you were like, hey, I'm having an issue, how do I fix this? He almost always answered it. And from what I understand, he hasn't posted or responded or anything in like months. Nothing shipped out. I don't know if it's true or not. But that's what I'm hearing. So I wonder if he went under with the whole COVID thing and I had a feeling he was kind of going downhill, anyways. Like I said, they're kind of outdating. And I ordered the frickin' CNC machine kit that he was advertising, and that was a piece of frickin' junk. That never ran. I never got it running. My boss ended up frickin' dicking with it. I don't think he ever got it running either. I don't know. Is that enough to really coat it, though? I probably need more than this half, 3/4 of a tube.
Well, it probably depends on how thick of a coating you want.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm thinking. If it was the little bit, I wouldn't mind. But, hey, let's go for it.
Yeah.
I'm probably not going to print anything in the next.
Like I said, it'll probably come down to how thick you want to put it on there. Because I mean, yeah, you can probably gob it all on there and then just kind of spread it out.
Yep. Let's do it. They going the right way or the wrong way? You never remember when they're upside down. Going the wrong way.
Yeah, sit there and I just wanted to. She got almost all A's and 1 or 2 B's.
Damn it.
Some kind of a reward, and
Losing all my screws and springs.
she wanted an iPhone, so
Oh, bitch.
another day to get that. Every time I see her, she's got it in her hand. She's loving it.
Crap, did that thing work? I can, see it. Boing. That's what you get with ANET.
I almost wonder if they could make an adjustment thing in the center somehow that
Yeah, you know how I fix it?
just by putting some kind of a space or something there, just a.
Well, that's actually what Glenn did. Glenn actually did that. He put a little 3D printed wedge in there that you could screw and it tightened the 2 wedges together.
Mm-hmm.
Problem is it's 3D printed. I mean, the bed heated up, it softened and didn't work anymore. It's like, Glenn, what were you thinking?
Depends on the material you're using, but yeah, you could probably use other stuff.
Yeah, well, you could use a piece of wood or freaking
metal,
2 chunks of aluminum. But
well, you just
you know how I fixed it originally, because it was a lot worse. I did that. And I straightened it out, and I got it actually pretty close.
I've got a Monoprice Select Mini, and the center of the bed had a dip, and I ended up just cutting a piece of PTF tubing to the length to bring it up. I just slid it into the center there. That worked.
Where's my Oh no, I can't find my roll of blue tape.
Call the rescue team. Search
There it is. I wanted the bigger roll.
Surprised you just don't have a little wall lined up with rolls of filament and then rolls of blue tape underneath it.
Well, it is. It's usually I got a little hook right here on my counter that it just hangs on. It wasn't hanging there.
Yeah, see the blue tape.
My roll of blue tape.
Blue tape.
Call freaking emergency services. Tom lost his blue tape.
Some people lose their marbles. You lose your tape.
You guys can watch me install blue tape properly, since no one ever does. And I need my glasses, and I'm doing it back asswards because I want it going away from me. See, look at that. Perfect seam. Not a gap in it. Easy as pie. Once you know how to do it. I'm a little concerned about covering the thermistor. Cut bare wires right there.
But
I don't know if the tape's electrically conductive or not.
Kept on tape or anything?
Yeah, I got some electrical tape right here I'm going to put over it. And it's blue too. More blue tape. The blue tape. Come on now. Guess this knife ain't so sharp no more. I have no idea what that is. That might be why it doesn't heat up so well. There's like a big old chunk missing. I wonder if those leads are missing right there. Oh well, find out later. Should hit it with my little thermally thing. I made that a little too short, didn't I? I did. If at first you don't succeed, waste some more blue tape.
I do like when I find these Micro Center auctions. Well, I'm assuming they're Micro Center because it's usually a lot of inland stuff. That seems to be Micro Center's house brand of choice.
Yep. I believe isn't that like E-Sun or something else that they just stick their name on or along those lines?
Something like that. I was really surprised when I was over there the other day and saw that they now carry E-Sun resin, and then all the Creality Ender 3 Pro repair parts.
And I don't want to cover the little LEDs.
Rebuild a ender from the bed power supply. They had Meanwell power supply, although it was like about $45 for the power supply.
So let's not cover the little LEDs. Let's use this piece since I already got it here. Might as well, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to hit the LED not quite. This ought to be an interesting little experiment, actually. Oh, I should have videotaped it and crap. Oh well.
You are videotaping it.
Yeah, not, made a real video out of it.
Well, if it works, if it works, peel it off.
Do it. Well, if it does work, I might just buy another tube and do it to that printer.
Okay, well there you go. So this is your test run, your proof of concept.
The tube isn't that expensive. They're what, $6, $5 for a tube of that crap. I think you can get it cheaper even if you look around. Let's see, do I have a sharp blade on the other side? I sure do. Blue tape for the win. Hour and a half till Joel, yeah. I know. Dan is the biggest Joel fanboy there is. If you guys haven't noticed.
After he's been on his stream for like 3 or 4 times, it's like, yeah, it's just Joel.
Yep. Yep, he has. Dan gets all wet in the pants every time he does.
Yeah, it's cool that he pops in and hangs out.
Speaking about Dan today.
It's kind of cool he hangs out with other people.
No, it is. I like Joel's good people. Do you see his little post about the guy bitching at him on Twitter? Saying he's basically a sellout. He should quit doing whatever he's doing. It's just a sore spot, dude that like wants to start his own channel and can't make it because he's an idiot. You know, like me. I'm not sore about it because I know I'm a douchebag.
Oh, I
So
see.
the blue tape's on.
Like
You know,
like this on
think about that.
Mr.
Mr. Buttram actually mentioned that earlier. Blue tape is actually a good thermal barrier. Probably put a couple layers of blue tape down as a, insulator all on its own, period. If I just kept layering it up. You know what I mean?
I would jokingly say at this point, that's where you could put a piece of cork board down and then put some more blue tape to hold it in place.
Yeah. Well, the problem is it's still going to sag because you can't hold it in the middle. How would you hold it in the middle?
Double side tape?
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, that's a good idea. I have no idea how I'm going to spread this, and I got it all open and crap now.
Do you have a plastic, an old credit card or promotional thing laying around?
Actually, old credit. Well, I think I got rid of all my old credit cards. I had a whole box of old credit cards.
I get those promotional emails where they give you the little fake plastic card.
Yeah, I don't. That stuff doesn't even come up from the driveway. That stays down in the. I mean, I got my spatula here. I can always clean it up. This is my. Believe it or not, I've had this thing for like 20 years. This is my Bondo spatula from back in the day. People don't realize when you repair rotten wood, you fill the old rot with like liquid. They sell it, but it's rot secure. It's basically crazy glue that's been thinned down a little bit. It soaks into the old rotten wood, and then you Bondo it over. Best freaking wood repair ever. For small like trim boards around windows that you can't get, because you harden up the rot wood so it doesn't continue to rot with that crazy glue. It's basically crazy glue that's been thinned down. It's really thin, watered down crazy glue, and you brush it on the rotten wood after you remove the really rotten, and it's just the ends. Brush it on the end of the soft wood, and then refill it with Bondo. Works beautifully. Oh, this might be a waste of time. I have a feeling this shit's not good anymore. It is kind of an old tube. I've had it a couple of years.
Honestly, if you're going to be using most of the tube and then pitch what's left, just cut it at the bottom.
Yeah, I was thinking of that, but that's a big freaking mess I don't want to deal with. If
You're
I
going to be making a mess. You're just going to squeeze it out and spread it.
Yep. Well, I'm almost at your idea, but I was hoping I could be more.
Well, cut that nipple, the top off it, or cut the bottom off so that way
I'm
you
gonna
can kind of
bottom
that
off
like
because I think it's hard to about here. I think it's hard for. Well, that's soft.
yeah, just cut that whole threaded part off, and
Yeah,
then
yeah, yeah. Just hack it off, he says.
yeah.
What, it makes a mess. I know it does. I've done this stuff for years.
Well, no, I was gonna say,
I've done it to caulking tubes. It makes a freaking mess.
well, you're gonna spread it out anyway, so
Yeah, but it still makes a freaking mess. It gets everywhere when you open it up like that. Okay, first thing first. Bring the garbage can right on over here.
and if you got any paper towels, bring some over.
Get some paper towels all ready.
You know, that way you can set your tools down after you get them coated.
Yep, I'm gonna put it down, get all the computery crap away. Get this thing out of the way, get this thing out of the way, throw the cap out. Should have done this, but that's all right. Should have thought about it beforehand, but that is okay because I caught it before it was too late. I still got that crap all over the place. I don't really think there's enough of it to put a good layer on, but we're going to give it a shot.
Well, if you ended
I
up,
3D printed a toothpaste roller thingy too.
like I said, it depends on how thick of a layer you're trying to put on there. Once
Well,
you get one good layer on there, you could always put some more on later if you had to.
yeah, it's just pain resetting the whole bed and taking it off.
Well, you like to take things apart and tinker with them, so
Yeah, but like I said, this is actually my best running printer right now. Oh yeah, and I forgot this stuff smells really gnarly. It's kind of a yucky smell. It's not terribly bad. It's just not terribly strong. It's just terribly bad, if that makes sense. It smells like
it's not pleasant.
yeah. It smells kind of like rotten something.
Dan was asking what that is that you're putting on.
It's a super high temperature gasket sealer. It's like, I don't know. It's the highest temperature gasket sealer you can buy without like special ordering it. I think it's 550 degrees Fahrenheit or something.
Hotter than you'll print it.
Yeah. It's basically the same thing they make heat block socks out of. It is the same thing. It's like literally almost exactly the same thing. The only difference is this is pre-mixed. It's not the kind you have to mix the two chemicals together like a epoxy. Because the real super high temperature stuff you have to mix.
I'd say it looks like you got a good amount for a good decent little first, a nice little layer to test with.
Yeah.
If it does make any kind of a change.
Well, it's not even an eighth. It's only like a 16th of an inch thick, if that.
Right, that's what I'm saying. It looks like you get plenty to get a good coating on there and see if it actually helps any. I mean, worse is it can't make it worse.
Well, but the only downside is weight. This shit ain't light. Silicone is not a light material. I mean, it's not heavy either, but that tube was probably, I don't know, quarter of a pound maybe, if that. Nah, not even that much. But it's not light.
Yeah.
That's the only disadvantage. Like everyone's using the silicone mats for heater beds and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They're freaking heavy. When you're doing it on a bed slinger, it's not a big deal on, the Core XYs with the bed is basically stationary or it just goes up and down. It's not swinging back and forth.
Yeah, well, see.
I don't know. I think this is kind of a cool idea just for the fun of it.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. If it works, then you can just sit there and it's like, hey, here's another way. It doesn't, it's not as heavy as some of
the cork is definitely lighter. Cork is lighter than this stuff is. That I can tell you.
Cork.
But you know what you could do is put down a really, really thin. This is semi-adhesive. You could probably put a wicked thin layer of this down first, and then put the cork to it.
Yeah, I got the thing. The cork glue. Bond, yeah.
Yeah. And then it'll glue the cork to it.
Well, I have cork. If you would like a section of cork, I could probably send you a section of cork a little bit bigger than the size you need so you can trim it. Like I said,
sure.
A cork board. And that way, when you go to do the other one, you can try that, and then you can compare the two methods and find out if putting that down, then putting cork on it, adds, improves it even more. So then
my only concern with everyone doing cork is cork will burn. It's not like super highly flammable or anything, but cork will burn. It is a wood. I mean, it's not like the most flammable wood in the world. It is actually kind of hard to get it to actually burn.
Mm-hmm.
But it will burn. Wow, this stuff stinks. Of course, I'm all closed up in my air-conditioned room, so there's no ventilation at all. I might have to bring this outside where it's all humid because it wants humidity anyways. It's actually what cures it. So I might have to sit outside.
Basically use a high-temp silicone to put on the bottom of his heat bed with some blue tape as a protective layer just to test to see if it'll help insulate the bed enough to get it to heat up quicker and hold temp better.
The blue tape's just there as a safety measure in case for some stupid reason I decide I don't want it on there. I can just dig the blue tape underneath and just peel the whole thing off. Hopefully. This stuff might soak right through the blue tape and adhere to the... Never even thought of that. Blue tape is not impervious. They like to make it sound like it is, but it ain't. You get it wet enough for long enough, crap will penetrate it.
Well, if it works, then the only downside of that would be is if you ever had to change out a thermistor.
Yeah, the thermistor on this one's soldered in. It's like glued into place on this bed. Soldered, glued, something. It's actually mounted in the bed. The wires and everything. The wires all plug into this plug and everything's there. All the LEDs and everything are all soldered into place. They're all part of the traces, I guess you'd call it.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's like this little right in the middle where I put the electrical tape. It's where the thermistor is, and it's just two little bare wires that came out. And there's like a little glob. It almost was like hot glue, but it was more like a resin that they glued the actual ball of the globe, whatever you want to call it, or the thermistor into place with. Hope I never need to change these screws. Because they ain't getting changed if I do. I mean, it's a pretty thin layer I got on here now. I'm going to guess well under 16th of an inch. Like half a millimeter. That makes sense. But I do think it'll help looking at it now and seeing how it's smoothed out.
Well, but see, like I said, this is one test, and this is just using a thin coating. Then there's always um, doing the same thing on another one where you put the thin coating and then slap some cork board so that way it holds the cork board when it dries. Then you can do a compare and contrast on two different methods and see if
Yeah, it's kind of.
see how much it makes a difference. Okay, you can use this little silicone that acts, blue tape has a protective layer, silicone down to acts as a little bit of an insulator, and then the cork board on top of that to really help.
How do I know the second I touch this thing, I'm going to get that crap everywhere?
And then don't touch it; just pick up the towels and then
I got to get it out of here too. It stinks, man. And this room's all closed up with the AC running. And it is gnarly, nasty, like I'm catching a buzz off of it. Nasty. It's giving me a sore throat already. All right, I'll be back. I'm going to go sit it outside in the sunshine and the humidity. Between the two, something's going to cure it.
Well, hopefully it works. Oh. Try and find some more stuff on the auctions.
That ought to be an interesting little experiment.
Mm-hmm.
What's up, RC? I was coating my heat bed in RTV super high temperature gasket sealer to use it as an insulator. I had it. Sounded like a good idea. I went for it. It sure smells nasty, though. You know what else is cool about that stuff is it's got like a weird metallic-y, glittery look to it. I know the camera didn't pick it up, but it's very mild, like a glitter filament. I put it out in the sun. I was like, oh, yeah, it's all glittery. You don't really notice it unless you're out in direct sunlight. Watching me get stoned. I'm going to have to open the door even with the AC going. I'm going to have to like open the windows. It's nasty smelling shit. It's giving me a sore throat. Probably sitting there standing over it, going, spreading it out, taking big hits of it. Yep. If you ever built a motor, you kind of know what I'm doing. Although that stuff, that super high temperature stuff, that's actually made for like exhaust systems and stuff. It's not. Yep, that's exactly it. The copper RTV. It's like 550 degree temperature or something like that.
I said, well, hopefully it doesn't have copper in it. Good thing you put tape down then so you don't short anything out.
Permatex Ultra Copper maximum temperature 3-ounce tube. It now goes for, I don't think I paid that much, but it now goes for $7 a tube, basically. That's what I used right there. Up to 700 degrees Fahrenheit. 371 degrees Celsius. I don't think I'm going to have a problem with it under my bed. That's what it was right there. It was like not even, probably just a little more than half the tube. They probably made a dozen heat block socks out of it. That's what I used it for. I used to make my own heat block socks for the printers. But I think I still got one or two of them for the Max Micron for it. It's almost noon. I'm going to cut it right at noon so everyone's got an hour to go and do things. And then Mr. Warkaki is going to have Dan's little cream job boy make Dan wet. Joel Telly on. Dan's like a fangirl. Oh! Joel was on my stream.
Actually, it was funny. It was just funny last year at Earth when they were walking by. I didn't even say anything to Joel.
The red's fine for normal stuff. It's just I use that, like I said, for the making heat block socks. The red's not hot enough. The red actually like turns black and burns a little bit on the heat blocks, where that copper stuff just doesn't affect it at all. Matter of fact, the other thing I've noticed with that stuff, and I've done it a few times, if you have like the E3D heat block socks, if you get a tube of that crap and the E3D rips, you know how they always rip sometimes, you can put a little bit of that stuff in the rip, squeeze it together, leave it overnight, and it's like brand new. Other than now you have this like copper strip down the middle of your blue sock. But it holds, locks it right together. You never know. It's actually stronger than the original piece. You know, as long as you clean it first, use a little rubbing alcohol and clean the crack out.
Yeah.
You just squirt a little bit in there, squish the sock back together on it, leave it together for overnight, and it's like brand new. The crack is sealed. Rip, crack, whatever you want to call it. I've done that a couple times with it too. Like, oh, I can't get a new sock, and the sock's like falling off the freaking thing because it's all, you know, they crack sometimes, like right at the heater slot where the heater goes through. It's usually the weak spot.
The only one I've had was right where the nozzle goes through at the bottom. I get like little.
Yeah, I've had them ripped there a couple times too because they'll catch on a little jig on the plate on the print. Yeah, that's like I got to open the door and open the window. Gnarly, man. Simply gnarly. I got the fans going and the AC going. I got the door wide open. Don't care. Yep. I got it all assembled, RC. I just got to put it on the printer, and I'm being lazy. So I did that instead. Because I had one printer that's actually working real well, so I had to fix it. My best working printer, I just tore apart and dicked with it. What kind of an idiot am I, anyways? I got to get belts, too. I don't really want to do this till I get new belts. Nobody has any good G6 belts. Everybody's out. Unless I order from, like, Europe. I want to order from Prince Hall. I went to order some the other day. I was going to get my brother to give me freaking $20 and order a shitload of belt. Actually, I think it's more like $40.
How much of a problem is it to run the belts?
Huh?
How much of a problem is it to actually run the belts?
On the Core XY, it's kind of a pain in the ass.
Not something you just buy.
It's not running it. It's getting it all square and the tensions even, and it probably takes me an hour to really get everything squared up. And if you tighten one, I mean the way that's designed is it's harder because it's relying more on the belt for the keeping it square than it should be. The actual wheel should be keeping it squarer than it does, but if you get one of those belts just slightly off tension from the other one, the whole gantry will go cockeyed.
So definitely not something you'd want to do and then do again just because you got better belts later.
Yeah, well, it's just it. I wanted to get the better belts now because I got pulleys and everything. I'm going to replace the 2 pulleys. The 2 pulleys that are on it are cheap Chinese ones, and they kind of do the woodoo thing. You can see it. You know, they're obviously egg-shaped or the hole is off-center. I mean, they're actually the best 2 of my cheap Chinese ones. I literally went through like 10 of them to find those 2, but I got some nice, brandy new LDOs right here just for it. So as I got to do all that, I wanted to do the belts because the belts are all wearing out anyways. I mean, the thing's 3 years old. I've had it for 3 years and haven't really done much to it since I built it. I put the Hemera on it back at Christmas, but that was just changing the head. Everything else stayed the same.
Yep, easier to do it once than having to do it a step.
Yeah, it looks like everything's going to line up too there, RC. I have a feeling the only thing I didn't think about is the plane of, like, as this thing's traveling back and forth this way, the plane here, I think it's going to angle into it a little bit, but that's not a big deal. I can just redesign the 2 upper brackets and reprint those, which I want to do anyways. Those are original. Those are literally the first 2 I ever printed for it. They were the only 2 things that I designed from the beginning and just worked immediately. I didn't have to like redesign or tweak, and they're getting kind of pulled out of shape anyways. Their alignment, I don't know if you know what I mean, but the belt path will be kind of cockeyed. It won't be straight right down which will still work. I mean, it won't be that far off. If it's off, it's only like a 1/4 inch, if that. I mean, the Enders, all the Creality printers are worse pitched than that, so it's not going to make a big difference. Noticeable to me, it'll just irritate me, but probably won't hurt the printer much at all. I will have to fix it. It should run a whole lot smoother now that I can get rid of all that plastic crap. I think that's my biggest problem with it right now is the Hemera is so heavy and it's mounted on plastic junk. Basically, I whip together really fast, and I have a feeling it's too flexy. When that thing starts whipping around, the head's all flexing up and downward. It ain't going to flex on that. There's going to be like little to none. The only flex that's going to be on this is the interface of the wheel to the 2020. And that's why I use mini wheels, because even though the bearings aren't as good, the distance of play is shorter because the wheel is shorter. I don't know if it actually works or not, but it sounds good in theory.
Well, there was a way that you could do a comparison before, after design.
Oh, I know it's too floppy now because there's a couple of pieces on it. That's the other thing. A couple of them cracked. That's why I'm really not using it. I kind of just glued them back together a little bit with some crazy glue, but one of the mounts, the lower leg got, I don't know, I think I hit something with it, or you know how you always get that little tit that sticks up every once in a while from over extrusion? I think it hit it, snapped off the thing or something, I don't know. But one of the lower brackets broke on the plastic. And it's just, I kind of did it quick and hokey and just to make it work. fastest thing I can think of to stick it together. I mean, I can't complain. It actually works pretty well, but it's got a lot of slop in it, which will all go away with this. Little plate, little slop. None of that should lose some weight. This is way smaller than that big ass pipe that's on there now. The only thing I didn't think about was the damn freaking end stop. I have the end stop mounted on this. You know what? I'll do it on the. I just thought of that. Here's my wire. I don't know if you can see it. I have it. That's my wire management. I put a little 3D printed thing in here that sticks my wires up and everything. I can put the end stop on that. That'll work. I can make it work. I can make it work. Setting up Chromebooks. My brother loves his Chromebooks. He got his wife some. I mean, he gets them pretty much for free through his company because he's like a super geek. Matter of fact, I got to talk to him before he comes down here on Monday. If he's got any Raspberry Pi 4s, I kind of want to play with a Pi 4, just to play with it. So I'm almost thinking about doing like a retro Pi gaming thing, you know?
That's what I'm working on.
I don't know anything about it, and I'm terrible with all that crap. So it's probably a lost thing for me to even play with, because me and like firmware, software, figuring out loading Linux, nope.
Well, I'm checking out this other one. Let's see.
I got to get me something to drink. I'm getting a wicked sore throat from that. It's already clearing at least. The AC is basically blowing it straight out the door.
Looks like a Laka Leica
In the closed room. When there was a big freaking warning sign that says "Work in ventilated area," right on the label of the fucking tube. Here I am doing it in a closed room. I'll be back in a second.
All right. Right now, I'm playing around. I got different images for RetroPie that people have compiled, but I'm also this Leica LAKKA I'm checking out because it has more of a PlayStation kind of looking vibe to it. I want to test that out. Let's see how that works. Figure all the different cams I got, I could set one up on a different angle. But I was trying to set one up for my sister. She wanted to be able to play some old games that we used to play on our old systems, and I had a couple of Pi 3s laying around, so I told her I'd set one up. I'm definitely going to have to prop my leg up. I feel it tightening up a little bit.
Oh, crap. Yeah, that's funny. I put it on my front stoop.
Mm-hmm.
There's already like a dozen bugs stuck to it. I'm waiting. I didn't even think about it because there's chipmunks living under it. It's like a concrete staircase thing that I got and just put on front of the house. It's one of the big entryway concrete staircases. It's got like a platform and everything. Anyways, it's huge. And there's chipmunks and stuff living underneath it. It's no big deal, They're not going to hurt it any. They don't bother me.
Footprints on it.
Well, that's what I'm waiting for, is for them to come through it with footprints. It's cute and everything, but I don't want them like getting on their feet and then trying to lick it off either, because that'll kill them. Get that stuff in there, gut it. It's all over for a little chipmunk.
I was showing them one of the pies I'm working on has an image called Leica or something, Lakka, and it has more of a PlayStation.
I have a PlayStation. I
No,
want to play like the old Sega games and the old stuff.
right, but that's basically like RetroPie for playing
Yeah,
other.
yep.
Yeah, it's more theme based of like a PlayStation look for the menu
Yeah.
system as opposed to the RetroPie
I
menu.
wouldn't mind an old PlayStation because the one thing I miss is the new PlayStations will not play Borderlands 1, the original Borderlands game, which to this day I still say is the best game story. The storyline behind, the story in the game itself on Borderlands 1 is far better than all the rest of them. Borderlands 2, when they remapped all the controls, is way better to play in a sense of because they remapped the controls better.
Mm-hmm.
Because some of the buttons and stuff were just really odd in the original Borderlands. But oh my god, the original Borderlands was so much fun.
Yeah, I haven't really played a lot of games over the years just because I work so much.
I don't either.
We had a PlayStation 4 here. We got a Xbox One, and so the kids play those more than I do.
Yeah, I go by spurts. Like I play Borderlands is pretty much the only game I play anymore. Borderlands and occasionally one or two of the Call of Duty ones.
Mm-hmm.
And the only reason we play Call of Duty is my cousin plays. He's in Washington State. And that's how, instead of like sitting on the phone, he'll call me up and go, hey, dude, let's BS. And that means let's go on and we play Call of Duty.
Mm-hmm.
And people don't realize you can play Call of Duty online against robots, not other people. So me and him will put the robots on like the dumbest settings and put like 15 robots to attack us. And you just sit like in a campsite and we're just laughing, pulling the trigger. And you basically end up dying anyways because you run out of ammo and there's 15 of them and you can't kill them fast enough. You can't like change the ammo fast enough. And all of a sudden there's like 15 freaking dudes shooting at you. But we just, more or less that's how me and him like BS on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
But we do it on the PlayStation. Just do that, just giggle and laugh and, play against the 15 robots or 13 robots or whatever the hell it is. Or sometimes we do the zombies too.
We used to do that at work. People would bring their system in, and then we just sit there after hours while we're in chill mode until a run comes in after dinner and chores and everything's done. And we just sit there and play the zombie.
Yeah.
That was always fun.
Zombie ones are kind of fun. They get kind of obnoxious, though. It's like the same thing over and over and over. There's not enough, I don't know, not enough change with the zombies.
Yeah,
They're fun for, I like playing it for like a half an hour, and then I'm like, okay, enough of that. You die, and then it starts over, and it's exactly the same thing that happened last time. There's no continuing story to it, I guess.
Which there's really not really a story for it, is it? I mean, it's just basically
it's just round after round of survival.
Zombies.
I mean, you do open like new rooms and stuff on occasion, but even that gets to be. I don't know. Like the Call of Duty game, as you move through it, it's a storyline. Where zombies, there's no storyline. It's zombies are coming at you, kill them all. Oh, you killed them all. Guess what? More zombies are coming at you, kill them all. Guess what? There's even more zombies coming at you, kill them all.
I never thought about just taking the sound, like when the zombies are about ready to come and it plays that certain sound, to let you know that things are getting ready to start. Use that like for like a ringtone message alert or something, depending on who you put it for.
I did like the old. They just came out with a new one or something. I don't know what the difference is. I haven't played it, but the old original World War II version of Call of Duty, on the PlayStation or Xbox, I liked that one where you had the old like single shot guns, and that was a good one. I actually liked playing that one. Even online with like real life kids that just kick your ass. Because with the single shot, reload, have to recock it every time, and that kind of crap was more challenging, I guess. Sounds like my brother's calling Mom on his way in. Not that anyone gives a crap. I gotta actually cut this because it's already noon. It's afternoon. I will not be around tomorrow, most likely, and Monday. So,
my things will just be random popping into chats because I'll be working the next 48.
There will likely be no morning stream tomorrow or Monday because we're doing my father's funeral tomorrow or Monday, and everyone's coming in tonight and tomorrow for it, which is really stupid and dangerous and all that crap. But oh well,
I hear the dogs barking, so somebody finally made it back home.
3 months. What month are we in? July? Yeah, it was like 4 months ago he passed. Now we're gonna have the funeral.
Yeah.
At this point, why even bother? But whatever, makes him happy.
Well, that's one thing. That whole COVID's basically just. I've considered everything a wash this year. I still got, even being off 6.5 weeks for an injury, I still have 12 days of vacation time to use for this year, which I'll carry 2 over. So the 10 I normally would have, I'm not going anywhere. I mean, there's no sense trying to even plan for a vacation. It's just more like,
there's not that many people, Bob. It's strictly family. We're not doing anything, but my family's kind of large, and none of them are staying here. But the hardest one is my middle brother lives out in Colorado, and we basically left the date and time and everything up to him because he's the only one that's going to fly in. All the rest of them could drive. I mean, the farthest away, my cousin is down in Delaware. Pretty much everybody else is within a couple 3 hours. But like my other uncle is not well, so my cousin's coming up, I think, today because it's just an excuse to come up and see his father and blah, blah, blah. There's going to be people blowing through and the whole COVID thing and stay far away and my mother being old and everyone's making a big deal out of it. Blah, 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 blah. I wish it would all just go away and be over with. Sick of the whole freaking thing. But it is what it is.
Yep. All right. Well, if you're wrapping up, I think I'm gonna get some ice on my knee.
I got to go make lunch, and then in an hour? Not even an hour is Dan's little fangirl. Dan's buddy is going to be on More Cocky stream. I got to pick on Dan. Poor Dan.
Hey, but he actually comes to Dan's streams and hangs out. So
tomorrow's your birthday, Zon. Happy birthday. Need a little snowman going. Happy birthday. Cake day. It's your cake day. Anyway, gonna kill it. See you guys. Have fun. I know you're good. That's why I pick on you, because I know you can handle it.
Well,
give it right back. Happy Zerth Day. Anyway, see yous.